Hello, my name is Lourdes with Virtual Telesolutions, Advanced Certified ProAdvisor for QuickBooks Online with a virtual firm sitting at a platinum level. And today I'm just going to go over on how to fix a reconciled transaction in our QuickBooks Online for Canada that has not been properly matched. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to be working in the Canadian QuickBooks Online test account today. I already kind of reconciled the Visa credit card. So let's go take a look at the bank register. So you'll notice that the transactions with the R are part of the reconciliation. You'll also notice that I have two of the same transaction here. One has been reconciled, one has not. One has come through the banking tab or connected accounts, and the other one is the manually created transaction that we ourselves created inside of QuickBooks Online. So a little bit about that to tell the difference between the two. The ones with the green square are the transactions that we have been bringing over from the banking tab. Anything without the green square are transactions that we ourselves created inside of QuickBooks Online. So if you have your accounts connected in the banking tab, it is definitely a very good goal to very often come in here and check to see that everything that, especially if it's been reconciled, has a green square, which tells us it's been matched correctly. We won't have any additional transactions, no duplicates, and it's been accounted for correctly with that match to the banking. So before I go ahead and make the change to this, another thing that I kind of want to point out, which is good practice after I'm done a reconciliation for an account, I always like to come in here and select the filter. I'm going to select the drop down for the reconciled status, and I'm going to select not reconciled. I'm going to go ahead and select apply. And this will show me all the transactions that have not been reconciled. And I'm going to quickly review the dates and be and ensure that, you know, they're okay that they're not reconciled, or I'm going to review the date and realize, okay, I already reconciled this month, but this transaction isn't part of the reconciliation. I now need to figure out why, right? Because this is now considered an extra transaction. In this case, we know it's a duplicate and it didn't get matched properly to the banking tab. So let's go ahead and fix that now. So I'm going to go ahead and select my banking tab. I'm going to make sure I'm in the correct account. I'm going to go under the review tab and I'm going to find that transaction that we're working with. So in this case, it is this one. So I'm going to go ahead and select undo. We are going to get the error messages pop up here because we're working with a reconciled transaction, but it's okay. We're just going to work through it. This brings it back to an original state in the For Review tab. So this is our transaction here. As you can see, we got that beautiful one record found, which is exactly what we're looking for. Before I go ahead and select that match, I'm just going to show you a little bit how the program works here. So this is the transaction in our banking tab under For Review. If we go into the account history, this is the manually created transaction for Jennifer here for the amount. And this is the transaction that we are going to link to. So that For Review transaction, we're linking to this one so that when we come into our bank register, we're only going to see the one singular transaction with the green square. So let's go ahead and match that now. So we're going to select match and let's go look at that bank register one more time. So perfect. This is exactly what we want. The manually created transaction is now merged and linked and synced to that banking tab transaction. The match is now successful. We got one singular transaction, no duplicate numbers. So now the issue is that this transaction is part of a reconciliation, and we now have a C rather than an R. So if we go to reconcile our next month, let's go try that. Let's see what happens. We're going to get a nasty error message here telling us that we have a discrepancy that we need to fix and our balance is off. So while we're in here, let's go over this. If this ever happens to you and you're getting ready to reconcile a credit card account or a business checkings account, and you see this message, you'll notice that there's a blue "We can help you fix it" hyperlink. And if we go ahead and select that, it'll bring us to a pop-up window where it'll tell us exactly what we need to do to bring our accounts back to its original state so that we can go ahead and continue reconciling for the month that we need to reconcile. So in this case, if we go straight to the change type column, we can see that the transaction has been unreconciled in the register. Essentially, it was supposed to be reconciled. So you can fix this right from the pop-up window. You just have to click the transaction. We're going to add the R, and then we're going to save. I'm not going to do that right now because I actually want to show you one more thing. So let me cancel this. Yes. Under the history column, you'll notice a blue view hyperlink, and this will lead you to the transaction journal. So if you're not getting enough information on this line item for whatever reason, and you need a little bit more detail, you can go ahead and click the view, and it'll bring you to this list here, and we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and the very last line item here is the original entry of the transaction. So you'll notice on the left hand side these little triangles, and if you click on the triangle, it'll drop down and give you even more information about the transaction. So this was the original entry that was made by Bob Smith. Gives us a time. When we click, it gives us a lot more information, so we can, start digging into what happened. And as we work our way up, these are all the changes that happened in sequence. So if we go to the very top of the list, this is going to be the very last thing that we did to this transaction, which is that match that we just did. So that is the transaction journal. You do also have another hyperlink here, which takes you straight to the expense. So this is the transaction here. If we click on the online banking matches, this is the details of the banking tab transaction that we match to. You can easily unmatch it from here for whatever reason if you need to unmatch and bring it back to an original state. But yeah, a lot of information is given in this transaction. So let's go ahead and close that there. So I'm going to go back to the bank register, because now that we know what the issue is, so two places that we can make the correction right here. We're going to add the R. We're going to save. The second place, let me cancel that, is right from that hyperlink. We can help you fix it. We're clicking. We're adding the R. We're selecting save. And yes. We got that beautiful green check mark letting us know we're back to a zero difference. We don't have any discrepancy, so we can go ahead and select done. The error message is now gone. We can now enter our ending balance, our ending date, and continue with our upcoming reconcile for the month. So again, going back to the bank register, we don't have any duplicates, any extras. All the transactions have a nice R, letting us know that we're good. This is exactly what we're looking for. So back to the topic of making changes to a reconciled transaction. For the most part, you can make those changes. Let's go ahead and let's stick with the one that we've been using here all along. In the past, you did have to remove the R in the bank register to make changes to a reconcile transaction. That is no longer the case. You can change the payment date. You can change the payment method, reference number, category, description, the tax code, any of this information, and you can save and close without having to remove that R in the bank register. But still, you definitely want to make sure that it's part of the reconciliation period, all that kind of good stuff. Another thing to be mindful of is if you're changing the amount on the reconciled transaction, then you're gonna have to undo the entire reconciliation and re-reconcile for that month, right? And that's just something that you're gonna have to do because now your numbers are not gonna be a complete match, which of course you want to match to a T to that monthly statement that we're receiving, right? At the end of the day, that should be the goal, is to ensure that your numbers are being matched to that monthly statement accurately. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close that. Another thing that I kind of wanted to go over with the changing of or edit of a reconciled transaction is the reconciliation report. If you yourself are making an edit or a change inside of a regular QuickBooks Online account, those changes are going to show up on a reconciliation report. So let's go take a look at that. To get to your reconciliation report, we're going to go accounting, reconcile. We're going to select history by account. We were working with the Visa credit card account, but you can change the account from the drop down. You can change the reporting period. This is the report here. So this is the reconciliation report. And on this report, any changes that, like I said, happen to a reconciled transaction, it's going to show on this report. If for whatever reason you don't want to see that on your report, the only way to remove it is to work with a ProAdvisor, with a QuickBooks Online accounting firm. And they do have the ability to undo the reconciliation and redo the reconcile, and it kind of gives the reconciliation report a clean slate. But again, if you yourself are making the changes or edits inside of a regular QuickBooks Online, it's just something that we're going to see on the report and cannot be removed, sadly. So that is making changes to a reconciled transaction and working through matching with a reconciled transaction. Hopefully you enjoyed the content and you find it useful. If you have any ideas for any upcoming videos, please don't hesitate to put a comment down below, and I'd be more than happy to create a video to help you with your QuickBooks Online company file. I do try and make content when I can. it's been super incredibly hectic with work in the past few months, but I do enjoy making these videos, and I do try and make videos that are, you know, of good content that might help someone out there. So I do thank you again for subscribing to my channel. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have yourself a great day.